Hi, Earth people. This is Carrie at Wooing Nature. Welcome to the channel and welcome to January midstream. We're looking at what we need to do as Earth sign people. And again, this is for Earth signs. It could be your sun sign, moon sign, ascendant, depending on which line you like to follow. And it also can be if you know and you're familiar with your chart and your chart is very heavy on the Earth side, then this is also for you. So I'm going to be reading, this elemental reading is going to come from the Mystical Shaman's Oracle, Colette Baron Reed. I do like this deck because to me, the cards that they have in here really give you a good sense of the things and the elements and the aspects and the animals and all of that that are associated with shamanic teaching. So it's a good deck. I'm going to do a medicine wheel for you first, air people, because I want to just kind of get my bearings straight. And whenever I want to get my bearings straight, I go to the medicine wheel. At the very center, you have the hummingbird. And the hummingbird is very much an air associated animal. But I think what this is asking you to do is to get ready for a transformation. So for some of you who are used to kind of staying close to the ground, or you are accustomed to doing things that that keep you stationary, it looks like there's going to be some movement happening for you. So I want you to be on the lookout for it. That card is the card number 26, breaks down to an 8. So for those of you who are numerologically inclined, you will understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So within the card here, I am seeing the sun, sun being a masculine principle over a feminine principle, but I'm also seeing the egg, and the egg is a feminine principle. So I'm seeing that there's a combination of both the masculine and the feminine, or a joining of masculine and feminine in this situation. There are some ideas or some concepts or some it could even be like an inkling of sorts that's coming from deep inside of you that has to come out, that has to, get into the air, so to speak. And so this is a transformation that's happening. It's definitely a transformation whenever you get the masculine and the feminine in the same thing. And we're talking about giving birth. We're talking about births of all sorts. It's birth of an idea, a birth of a concept, a birth of a nation. I don't know, But you are very much a part of that, and that is at the center and at the central part of your that's the center of your experience right now. Okay. The hummingbird, of course, is known for its speed. That's not something that earth signs are necessarily associated with. Like they don't necessarily, they're not necessarily associated with speed. So this may be a different time for you right now. You may be really coming out of your box, or you may be coming out of the typical way that you interact and the typical way that you do things. This is a new territory for you, earth signs. Very much new territory. Your movements are going to be very quick, very fast. Of course, with hummingbird being there. A lot of energy too. Ooh. Jaguar energy. Okay, so it's not playtime, earth signs, not at all. The jaguar, I want you to look up the jaguar. The jaguar shows up in many different cultures as a power animal, particularly when we're talking about magic, quote unquote magic. But we're also talking about knowing how to use your inner power, how to use more specifically prowess. Prowess is a type of power. It's an aspect of power. But you need to get in touch with it, and you also need to get in touch with what that represents. And I think that that's going to require some reading. It's going to require some research on your part. Again, see which cultures either worship or connect with the jaguar, or where the jaguar is an important part of their spiritual and cultural awareness. And then that will teach you something about how this jaguar is going to play itself out in you. This sits in the south position. South position is the position of learning. It's where you sit when you're a child, when you are absorbing new information. And so this may be new information for a lot of you, as far as the information itself, but also it may be a new way of operating, where you haven't had the opportunity to move and matriculate within this framework, or utilizing that power within you. And so you're learning that. You're aware of it, Earth signs. You're aware of it. But I think you haven't fully utilized it yet. And now you're going to get a chance to do that. But first, there's some things you have to learn about it. That card comes in with the 28, which breaks down to a 1. So again, 1 is beginnings. It's learning. It's at the beginning of things. 1 means on, I believe it is. So that's some information that's going to get turned on for you. And yes, I do see your third eye chakra being open. And when it's open, it's going to take you back. It's going to take you back. You're going to start remembering certain things. Certain memories are going to get triggered for you. And then you're going to start understanding things from the aspect of the child. Again, this is in the south position, the position of the child, the position of learning. So you're going to get some new lessons. You're going to see things very differently through that. All right, so we have the flow. The card is called flow, but I'm associating it with a couple of things. It could be water, it could be air, it could be a mixture of water and air. Okay, so when we start talking about that Oya energy that goes with the air and the water together, that's the energy that's what I'm getting from that. That's a very powerful force. If you think about wind energy and water energy, you get Niagara Falls. They use water energy to create energy. And people use wind energy to create energy. So you got water energy and you got wind energy together, but the card itself is about flowing. It's the number 20. That breaks down to a number 2. This is taking those two elements. It's taking air and water and finding the place where those two powers meet, and then what gets created out of that power. This is something that is connected to something that you already know, something that you have learned either through your experience in this life, or it could even go back to ancestral memory. So like sometimes when you're sitting around with your family and they're talking about, what so-and-so, what this cousin or that cousin did, and they're, reminiscing, then it can also be in that as well. But what you're looking for is water energy. Water energy is fluid. It moves in, it moves out, it can take, it can give. It is considered to be nurturing if we associate it with the goddesses, the mother goddesses, or the water goddesses, or the water spirits or rishas. Then we're talking about something that's very feminine, but also mothering and nurturing in nature. And then when you talk about air, you're talking about the intellect, the mind, which can sometimes be very masculine. So when we get this 20 breaking down to a 2, we can look at, again, masculine and feminine coming together. This is the second time that we're getting that in this reading. All right. For some people, I know that this concept of masculine and feminine gets very difficult to discern, what exactly does that mean, my masculine and my feminine? Your masculine side is your outward expression. It's your drive. It can represent what you show to the world. It's outer, okay? It's your outer self. It's, the the self that you present to the rest of the world on a day-to-day basis. Your feminine is more receptive. It involves your feelings. It involves emotions. It also involves who you are on the internal as well. And this can show up in different ways. This can show up in different ways. So I don't want to tie it to that, but you know what I'm talking about. It's really about taking two things that don't seem to operate together and pulling them together. But for those of you who do work with elements, you'll know what I'm talking about. So you got to be able to make these things flow together. I'm seeing for some of you that this is happening at a global level. The energy that you are creating. And if you look at this card here, it's like she's creating the energy. You know what I'm saying? You're not waiting for somebody to come and hand you anything, Earth people. You're going to be creating it, and you're going to be creating your own flow. You're really creating how you're going to be moving. So think about that when you start putting things together. But this is associated with your experience as well in this position. So it could come from your experience. Like I'm getting that a lot of you know what to do. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know what to do. But you are creating that energy, the energy that you need to move in the way that you need to move. Which is really very earth when you think about it, even though we've got a lot of, we've got the air sign at the center. All right, so we've got the ghost stance here. And for me, the ghost stance, and it's in the position of the north, which is where we go for wisdom and knowledge, and where we reach our wisdom places inside of ourselves, and also when we have to seek wisdom outside of ourselves as well. It comes in with the number 22 here. For those of you who know about those power number 22s, you can make your associations there. But I'm also seeing this being a part of an ancestral connection or ancestral past, but this goes way, way, way back. So this knowledge is coming not just from your ancestral past, but it's coming from your spiritual ancestry, and your spiritual ancestry is going to take you even beyond your own cultural heritage. It really will take you past there. So the knowledge that you need, earth signs, in order to be able to process through this transformation that we're talking about, when you're able to bridge these sides, and I'm seeing this and understanding your own inner power and how to use that power or harness that power, which is really housed here in the element, in the sign of the Jaguar. It's being able to harness power. So that's what this really is. That's what the transformation is. And then what happens as a result is you are able to zip, go wherever you need to go. You still have your foundation in place, but you're going to be moving around. You all are going to be moving around a lot. You're creating your dynamic. You're creating your flow. And then the last card in the East position is lightning. So I'm expecting some really powerful things from the Earth people, because this is, again, it's a really different position than you're accustomed to having. But if you think about it, you've been grounded all this time. Like you've accepted the aspect of yourself that is grounded. You accept the aspect of yourself that is stable and responsible, and always there when somebody needs you, and all of that. And that's not going away. You're not changing. Like, that doesn't go away. That's a part of who you are. But your experience is going to be different. The experience that you're going to start to connect with is going to feel ungrounded. You're going to be moving. You're going to be moving around quite a bit. So there's a lot of powerful energy here. Again, don't forget about the jaguar and the hummingbird. Look up both of those, because those would be the animal spirits that you're going to be walking with through this until we connect again. So I want you to know about that, and I want you to start utilizing the power. I feel like with this lightning here, and this is a number 30, breaks down to a 3 if you're breaking it down. The lightning is really coming from inside of you. It's like you bursting forth. That's what I'm seeing with this card here. It's like you bursting forth from the inside out. You are the electricity. You are the power. Remember we talked about harnessing the power? Knowing how to harness the power through the energy of the jaguar, connecting to your power sources, which are your spirit ancestors. And that creates usable energy. I mean, lightning strikes, everybody, gets themselves together, go somewhere and sit down. You know what I mean? So good stuff, but not good stuff, but I don't mean but good stuff. And you just want to make sure that you are not wasting this time. You're like, don't waste the energy and don't waste the time. It's here for you. It's there. I'm seeing it, So use this time between now and I'm going to say the next full moon to harness the energy, harness the power, understand how this water and this wind is working in your life, and then utilize it for your own transformation. And then, of course, if you need any guidance, you're going to your spiritual ancestors. Your spiritual ancestors are going to be the ones that are going to bring that through for you with that 22 energy. Absolutely. They're saying just to open your heart. That's all you have to do is open your heart, Earth signs. All right. So, okay. Interesting. I like it. I like it. All right. So I was thinking about this and I'm really wondering if I need to go back to primordial. I was going to go to primordial on you all today because of the fact that you all are Earth people. But you operating with that hummingbird energy kind of changes the game. But let's just see. Let's see if primordial is still talking. All right, ancestral spirits. Spiritual ancestors, all of you. For my earth sign people or my earth people, people of the earth. Just asking for your guidance and asking for you to let us know what we need to be thinking about, what we need to be focused on for now until the next new moon, or next full moon, excuse me. Because we just had a full moon on the 29th of December. So we're between cycles, right? We're between full and full, so by the time this airs or goes up. All right. All right, well, the first card up is the Man of Earth. That's interesting. Man of Earth. Man of Nature, specifically. I feel like you're looking, you're searching, you're wondering, you're still looking, you're still searching. You're still wondering, right? Yeah, we got the Man of Earth. What is it? All right, and then this is the Woman of Jewels. So the Man of Earth, the Woman of Jewels. Masculine and feminine again. Anything else? Nope. That's the only two. All right, so let's go to the book and see what's going on. We got a man and a woman. That goes right back to that masculine and feminine again. So as I'm reading this, I want you to get out of the mind space of man and woman in terms of gender. But let's just think about it in terms of masculine and feminine, okay? I want you to go ahead and put your mindset in the mindset of masculine, feminine. This is the masculine, the message for your masculine. From a place of serene calmness, this paternal figure observes us with awareness and concern. He is strong and confident, but he has the empathy to see when others are in need. He doesn't judge or think less of others who may not have his strength and abilities. Instead, he wonders how he can help. His keen intellect and experience allow him to see situations clearly, to assess what might be wrong, and to determine effective ways to help. This is a wonderful quality because sometimes those in distress are not able to see those things for themselves. His very presence is reassuring, and the help he offers can make all the difference. And this talks about being of service to others, allowing others to help you, and also being protected. So the masculine, when we were talking about in the other reading, and we talked about that masculine and feminine energy needing to come together or being able to bridge it, then on the masculine, or the outward nature, or the outward expression of yourself, is there to nurture, but also to help those, those who aren't able to see, those who need your strength, those who need the intellect, that kind of thing, that you are offering service to others. And the feminine, which is represented by the woman of jewels. So we're going to talk about the feminine now, the feminine energy. It says humans adorn their bodies for various reasons, maybe just for beauty's sake, maybe for some ritual purpose. As human culture develops, different people have different roles in their tribes. For better or worse, this includes the hierarchy of power. Power can come through physical might. And again, remember I talked about learning how to use your power. It's coming from your feminine. It's coming from your internal. And remember I said that the lightning, the energy is coming from inside out. It's coming from here. The lightning's not going to strike you like this. You are the lightning strike. And it comes from the internal, comes from that aspect of yourself that is the feminine. Power can come through physical might. It can come through control of resources, and it can come through highly developed skill that is in high demand. This woman, with her proud, confident pose, demonstrates her rank, authority, and power by wearing an elaborate bracelet made from the bones of an animal, including its skull. This is talking about power, skill, resources, ability, and your ability to earn wealth and have a successful career. That's all coming from the femme. So you have two energies, one from the masculine, one from the feminine, that these cards are relaying to you. And they're two very different things, How you choose to express those sides, or how you feel moved to express those two sides, is entirely up to you. The only thing you need to know is what these energies are actually doing. So when you are in a role of support and nurturing, you're actually acting it out. You're actually doing that. And then from this perspective, from the feminine, the power comes from inside of you. The power comes from within and gives you the energy to do this work. So I'm seeing some service-oriented work for you all. I'm seeing that what's coming towards you is going to be about that. I'm going to say to nurture your feminine, because this is where the energy is really coming from. Your ability to make a difference in the world, and to or to your family, or to the people around you, is really coming from an inner feminine power, or an inner feminine drive that is really your adornment. That is your adornment. What's on the inside of you is your adornment. Okay? Very good. Very good. That clarified that, because we were, I was anyway, wondering about that masculine feminine energy, and I definitely wanted to clarify that, because a lot of times we use this language, but we may not actually understand what is being meant by it, and that was a very clear example of such there. All right, so I'm going on, and I'm going to pull out the Ghetto Tarot, one of my favorite decks. This is a part of the Art of the Deck series. It features the artists of the Artistes Resistance in Haiti. They are a group of artists, so the people that you'll see in these cards are actually artists themselves. And then Alice Smeets, who is a photographer, organized or was a part of organizing this project that brought together this deck of cards. But I really like them, and I like their grounding energy, so I'm going to go to them today for our details, okay? All right, this is for the Earth people. These are for the Earth people. They're going through a transformation. There has to be a blend between the masculine and feminine. They tell me I already know. They already know what the deal is. We got the Ace of Brooms, which is the Ace of Fire. This is fire energy. They're asking you to work with fire energy. That lightning is fire energy. It's coming from your solar plexus. That's fire energy. So you need to work with your solar plexus, Earth people. You need to do solar plexus exercises. There's breathing exercises that are for the solar plexus, being able to assert and project energy from the diaphragm out is very solar plexus stuff. You also want to get yourself some citrine, but be careful about the citrine. This is what I heard anyway. Be careful about the citrine around the solar plexus, because if you're dealing with anger energy, it can exacerbate it. So you'll want to be dealing with your anger issues before you start using your citrine. I don't know. You tell me if you've had that experience, okay? Just telling you what I heard, not what I know. No. Okay? All right, but fire energy. So solar plexus, fire energy, working with fire. For those of you who do ritual work with candles, that's your thing. Or if you need to build a fire and give things to the fire, that's something that you might want to look into too. When I say give things, it's like you create the fire, and after you create the fire, then you can like write on a piece of paper the things you want to give away and put it into the fire as symbol of you allowing, letting it go and allowing spirit to take it and move it to the next level. Fire creates smoke. Smoke is the communication between the earth and the air. It's airborne. So we talk about earth, and we talked about air, and we talked about that in the first reading, in the medicine wheel reading, because you're earth people, but you're taking on air principles with that hummingbird at the center. Okay, so this fire, creating fire as a form of prayer, as a form of sending messages. You know how people talk about smoke signals and that kind of stuff, or when you smudge, the smoke clears the air. It's fire and air together, fire and air together. So it looks like to me you guys are in a very powerful position, Earth people, because you have the water in the air, and now you've got fire in air. So that's a lot of elements. That's earth, that's air, that's water, and that's fire. So you are able to work with all three during this time to bring in whatever it is that you need. For some of you, that may be water may come in the form of baths. You need to take, certain baths. As far as air is concerned, it could be about writing. It could be about speaking up for yourself. With the fire, it's about bringing, again, that energy from your gut out into the world, right? It's bringing the fire of your spirit out into the world. And it looks like a blaze to me. Look at this. Y'all got a lot to work with. All right, what else do we have here for my earth people? From now to the next full moon is what we're asking for. Anything, messages for earth people, people of the earth, as they're going through this transformation and the blending of the two, the masculine and the feminine energies that we just talked about. Okay. All right, so I see you counting your blessings here. I want you to look at what's behind you, what you have already accomplished. earth sign people, and feel confident in that. You have to know that what you're riding on is what you have already done, and particularly those things that you have done from your heart, those things that have come from an altruistic place inside of you, those things that have come from a feeling place in you. You can be proud of that, and you can rest on that and know that that is what is carrying you, or what is going to carry you. That hummingbird energy, it moves. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you're going to have to do something to move. It just moves. It just moves. It's here, it's there. If you've ever been around a hummingbird, they're here and then they're there. And then they're here and then they're over here. And it's like, and that's how they're going to be looking at you, earth signs. But you have to know that the reason for that, the reason why you are going to be able to do that, is because you've already done the work. You've already put in the time. You've already received the blessings from the work you've done. That's why you can sit here with your arms folded on the Aztec box saying, now what? Okay. So we got the devil here showing up, which you know. Okay. And what are those things? What are the things that are trying to scare you, frighten you, make you feel fearful? Those are the things that are going to prevent you from being in your hummingbird space. Those are the things that are going to prevent you from operating within the jaguar energy that you know that you have rolling around inside of you, right? Anytime you're not operating in the jaguar energy, or you're not operating in that hummingbird energy, or you are not able to harness your power, you got to look at what it is that is preventing you from doing it. And I guarantee you it's something related to fear, a fear of some sort. At this point, you shouldn't have to operate with fear, because that which you have created and done from your heart is what is going to be returned to you. So there really shouldn't be any fear. Really doesn't need to be any fear. So the message here is, to me, to be confident in yourself. This is the Page of Brooms, and it's being confident in your abilities, being confident with the tools that you have, being forward looking, but also being, willing to stand up for what it is that you're doing, and not apologizing. This is a non-apologetic space. And again, the brooms here is representative of the suit of fire. It's operating with confidence. That's what the fire energy is for you, is your confidence. And your confidence comes from inside of you. Again, we're talking about that solar plexus. That's your will center. That's your will space. That's where you find the will to keep going. It comes from that space. So I want you guys to work on your third chakras. Yep, you need to work on your third chakras. Third chakra energy is what you're focused on. All right, anything else for these earth people? Anything else for the earth people? Anything else for the earth people? All right, so you guys are going to be pushing off. That's you pushing off. That's you going into your hummingbird mode. This is you getting off the ground. This is you taking flight. And there is going to be someone to help you, but